You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast. This is episode 245, I think. Yeah, 245. And if you're watching, it is just Craig and I. Philly just gave us the negative. He will not be joining us tonight, so I'm guessing he had something that just suddenly popped up. So you get to listen to just Craig and I ramble
Just
on
us.
for an hour, which I don't know could turn out to be fairly fun and entertaining.
Maybe. You never know.
Well, it should be all right. But before we get too carried away, as the introduction to the show said, we'd like to thank First Light, Real Geese, and Ducklander Calls for their continued support. And, of course, the voice of the Union 0430 podcast, Captain Jeff Coates from Pit Boss Waterfowl out of Maryland, US of A. I think Jeff is still in Prince Edward Island.
He's still on his trip, hey? That's been going for
Yeah,
a while.
but I think he should be headed home here real soon because the Eastern Waterfowl Festival is, I think,
Well, yeah, I forgot you had
think
mentioned
that starts next Friday. So anyways, he's probably going to be on the road here real soon. And yeah, buddy, that's it. It is starting to get ducky. The weather has finally made that turn, eh?
Yeah.
Do you have you noticed it? Like, we're probably about what distance away? Like 3 hours apart?
Yeah, 3.5, I guess. Yeah, probably about 3.
Yeah, so that huge hurricane that hit Jamaica, Melissa, I think it was. After Melissa had done her damage, that's when everything changed for us. It seemed like that hurricane hit Jamaica and then started coming up the eastern seaboard. And then it just seemed like it just dragged a whole bunch of weather patterns with it. And we started, well, we got some rain and we got some cold. On Halloween night, we were having like wet snow. So the temperatures are dropping.
Yeah, so like Halloween wasn't bad for us. It was miserable all day long. And then just before we, like around dinner time, just before we went out, just before dark, it calmed right down. The rain stopped. So we got out, had no rain the whole time we were out trick-or-treating with the kids. And that's probably the first time in, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 years at least that we haven't had rain or snow.
Really?
But the winds were still strong, and it wasn't too cold. But then I'd say it was about 7:30. We were wrapping up and heading home, and the last few blocks, the wind got really cold. So like you could feel that change just in that little bit of time that we were out.
Yeah.
And then today I drove into Barrie. I was heading to the office, and when I got into Barrie, I was sitting at a set of lights, and some of the cars going by had just a layer of snow on them.
Really?
And I wasn't really paying attention. I saw that, and I looked, and like near some of the malls and commercial area, and that you could see in the flower beds there was just a little bit of snow. But where I was on kind of where my office is on the east side of the 400, there was nothing. When I went to leave the office to go out and do some inspections, when I got to the west side of the 400, right in town, like we're talking a couple kilometers away, all of a sudden, like the neighborhoods and the houses were covered in snow. Like not really, obviously nothing enough to see that the roof was covered. Yeah. But yeah, just from one like couple kilometers distance made a huge difference. And it was when I got out to the fields I was in today, it was cold and windy.
Yeah. Well, and I, I've been saying it for a while, and people laugh at me and whatever and tell me I'm right at her, and that's fine. But I've never been I've always said that November is when, for this area, like down around Lake Ontario, like the Kingston area, I've always said November's when we get to hunt, right? Because that's when the weather is cool and we start to see duck. Because we don't see, I don't care what other fellas say. Yeah, sure, you might scratch out a few ducks here and there, but we don't see big numbers of ducks until this time of year when it gets cold and it starts pushing those mallards in, right? And the fellas that are from around this area that know the area, they won't, I don't know if they'll admit it or not, but there's a couple places that you can go hunt here. Now you need to have a boat. And if you're hunting those areas, if you can get out there before anybody else and you can be set up, like the mixed bag of ducks that you can get around
Yeah.
here, it's like we'll see black duck, widgeon, gadwall, and mallards, and not hard to get them either. You know what I mean? Like obviously it's, but this is when you get them. Like earlier than this, the only thing you're seeing is teal and wood duck, and teal really, because unless you're in a wood duck spot, then you're not going to see them. But you'll see lots of teal. But teal are now gone, I would suspect. And I would say wood duck are probably getting close to being out of here. But I'm
Yeah.
starting to see pictures of fellas now with some nice green heads. So
Yeah.
they're coming.
Yeah, my last couple of weekends I've been out on hunts, but in fields, so I haven't been back out onto any water to see if the wood ducks were gone, if the teal were gone. But I always run into the same problem around here. It's like, things are nice, the weather's nice, I've got some time, and then all of a sudden, like over one weekend, the water's gone. It's now it's if it's not fully
Yeah.
iced, like it's just you don't want to mess around
Yeah.
with it, or it's like you might get some slushy spots, but you might get some decent ice, and all of a sudden we're locked
Yeah.
up
You're
all
froze
pretty
up.
quickly.
Well, and I think that's where, these ice eaters and stuff, this is where they make their money, right? Like this is how you can justify it. If you're in an area that has birds flying over, if you can open up some water for them, then you're laughing, right? Like, and that's my little, I guess my little piece of heaven is that I have a body of water that I can open up. And it's just me because it's my property, right? So it's whoever I bring on with me. And but I don't hunt it all the time, right? Because I don't want to like ruin it. Like there's days that I'll go just walk around there with the dogs. And I like the fact that there's just birds naturally in there,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, just because they're in there doesn't mean you need to go in there and start
yeah.
blasting the hell out of it.
Well, and that's the thing. And then, more on this, like I don't know, maybe I've hunted it a half a dozen times over the last 4 weeks, right? But like I'll go over and I'll shoot a goose. I can easily get my limit, but I don't eat enough goose to
Yeah.
justify putting, 5 geese in my freezer every day. Do you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make, like if I do, it's just going to get freezer burn or something, you know what I mean? So like I'll go over and I'll shoot a goose or two, or if somebody is with me, then I'll shoot some more because they like to take them. So, we'll get them their limit, but I don't know. It's just I like having it there. I like the ability to be able to go over and shoot it. The only problem is I don't get a ton of ducks. So
It's probably pretty deep there to have ducks, right? Other than
yeah,
it's
well
just
there's
you're keeping
there's
it
no
open and a
food
spot for
source.
them to be. Yeah.
Yeah, like the only reason a duck would come in there is just for the water, right?
Yeah.
Just to roost.
Just
But
because it's a
there's
spot.
yeah, like there's no food. There's no food source there for them, right? So anyways.
But yeah,
Have
like
you
you're saying, the ice eater would be good in an area like this because we do have, like, I'm on the bottom of Georgian Bay,
yeah.
but it's so low. But where we are, the Bay Area is already pretty shallow and a lot of weeds, a lot of islands. So it's not just divers out there. Like when things freeze up, there's a lot of great looking birds out there. But like you're saying, it's like then if you've got somewhere close by that you can open up and you're catching them as they're coming off that water or whatever, you could have a hell of a good hunt. But
Yeah.
even I haven't been down to the big water. Like it's a couple hundred yards away. But I haven't been down to the waterfront in a while to see. But last I was down, just not seeing a lot of ducks still.
Yeah.
And this year, I'm hearing a lot less shooting. Like there's other guys that are out there pretty regularly. Heard a lot less shooting this year.
Okay.
And for weeks I hadn't been hearing geese up until um, yeah, Halloween. Like we were out, and just before we came home, we could hear some geese flying over, and like that was the first I'd heard in a while. And even I think I was outside with Maverick last night or the night before, like end of the night, just taking them out one last time, and I heard some geese, but
Okay.
not hearing them in the mornings or afternoons like we normally do.
Well, I tell you this, the last 2 times I've hunted, I had a fellow with me the last time that I went, and as we're walking over, the only thing I have around my neck is, not that I'm a good caller anyways, but I just had my dog whistle around my neck. And he was like, "You're not bringing in any calls?" And I was like, "Buddy, they don't make a sound. Like they
Yeah,
literally come in. If you're not watching, you won't even see them. You won't know, because they're not making a sound. They just come in, they land, and then that's it, right?" So so they could, what I'm getting at is they could still be there. They're not making any noise when they're coming in, right?
yeah, because yeah, it's like it was out the last couple of weekends. So I've gotten some invites from that Patrick guy again. Like I know
Yep.
he talks to you a fair bit. He
Yep.
tags you guys in a bunch of stuff. So he was one I got out with. He invited me out early season. We got a few birds that one day, and then yeah, the last 2 weekends we've been out, and a pile of birds where he is.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's you could see, especially the mallards. Like he got a really nice mallard this past weekend, and you could just see like no neck on it, like just short
Yeah.
neck, big
I'm going to
fat
shoot him a
head on it.
message right now while you're talking, and I'm going to go, "Hey, you're inviting Craig out to hunt. Where's my friggin' invite?"
He said, he's like, "Would well, if Damien came down, would he just stay at your place?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, I'll see what I can do." But
Well, I'll leave it at that, Patrick. If you're listening to this when it drops on Monday, I'm expecting a message, buds.
no,
No,
it's been a good
I'm
couple
just
of
joking.
weekends. Like a lot of
No, you
birds.
guys have. Like, you guys have had some great hunts too. Like, you've had good weather and good hunts.
Well, the this past weekend was better, but still not. Still like very little wind. And the weekend before that, Chris Davis was actually up hunting. Like I found out
Yeah, I seen
late
that.
that night that he was coming, and so that's the first time I've been able to hunt with him. But like that morning, like no wind, and there were like,
Really?
and the birds are flying all day. But yeah, there was just no wind, and they just didn't want to land right, and it was a real pain in the ass.
Wow.
But yeah, no shortage of birds. And this past we had more guys on that first hunt, and then this past weekend there was only 4 of us. And man, shot fucking horribly.
I was
It
going
was
to ask
I've been
you,
doing so much better this past year and last year, and this hunt, man, it was fucking awful. It was
I
so
was,
bad.
I was going to ask you, like, have you, because I know we joke, right? Like, we call you the triple threat, and there's a joke that's behind that, but that was 6 years ago, easy, that
Yeah,
happened, right?
yeah,
It
probably
had to
more.
be
Yeah,
5 years ago at least.
yeah.
Like, have you gotten, like, do you go to the skeet range, or do you do any practice whatsoever?
We don't have a skeet. Well, I think there is one club with a skeet range around here, but like you can't get into it. So the only times I've gone have been down like for skeet were a while ago when Dan Banting took Carrie and I out and did well there. And then I've only been able to get to one of Marco's DU shoots down in
Right.
what is that, Galt? Because it always
Oh,
ends up
yeah.
on a weekend that I can't get down there.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like her and I both did well with that, and especially with the shot cam the last couple of years, like I've been doing better, and even like with some of the shots I made in Saskatchewan, like surprised the hell out of me. And there's
Hmm.
one actually on their one YouTube episode this year from that hunt last year,
Really?
where like I was telling you, like Mario was calling out names, and so like they caught my one shot on that.
Cool.
But yeah, it's like I'd been doing better with being able to. And what I actually found a lot of times was I was, because historically I was always shooting too low or too far behind, I was overcompensating, and what I could find was I was putting too much lead on a lot of times, and having a hard time judging that. And so yeah, my shooting I was doing better, but for whatever reason this past weekend, it just I couldn't connect with anything, and
Really?
then the gun was kind of screwing up on me.
Really?
Like I wasn't getting the few times where I was trying to take 3 shots. The third shot wasn't going in, and then so I'd emptied the gun and I just kind of racked it a bunch of times. And when I went to put a shell back in, and I hit the release, and the bolt just kind of slid in. So like I don't know if plastic was building up or something. So I sat there in between birds and just racked the shit out of it for a bit, and then it started to run smoothly. So I don't know if
Because
it was just getting
that's an
some.
inertia gun, right?
Yeah,
So, I don't know. I have no experience with yours, but I can tell you that the Super Black Eagle 2, the threes are better, but the twos, if they're not seated tight into your shoulder
yeah,
when you shoot, then it won't feed properly, right? Like it won't pick up that round and cycle it. So,
and I did find that when I was using the Sorix out in Saskatchewan the first couple times because I was wearing the bigger jacket and that in a couple of
right,
shots, I knew I wasn't shouldering it well. And when I started paying attention to that, it was cycling fine. But with this, so I thought that's what it was. But then, like I said,
right,
I went to just reload it, and the bolt wouldn't even like it just kind of slowly slid forward. It wasn't jamming in,
really,
and so yeah, I just
that's
racked
weird,
the hell out of it. And so I don't know if it was just a bit dirty or because I had a handful of different shells because I was just using some shit up.
right?
So I don't know if one of them in particular was just kind of because I did see a little
Okay.
bit of plastic on the edge. So I don't know if some was just kind of just getting rubbed off in there and building up or something. But so I got to take it all apart and clean it and
Yeah.
see how it's working.
Well, and it is a new gun. Like it do have to get broken in, right? And some of them handle a heavy load or a lighter load different than other guns, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, that
um,
was the other thing. After I kind of racked it a bunch of times, and then I got into a different box of shells, and I want like just using them up because they're the higher speed ones. And I'm just after listening to like Jimmy and everybody starting to talk more about like you want the slower speed. I'm like, I'll just get rid of these things, use them up. But when I put those ones in, it was cycling no problem. And then when I finished up with those shells, and I went back to some other ones, they had no problem. So they just I think those harder hitting shells kind of kicked the hell out of it a bit
right.
and
Yeah.
got it moving again.
Yeah. Could be. Who knows, man? Like, and I guess that's really, I guess the lesson that you can take from this is that, well, this isn't working the way that I want it to work. So why? And I think your attitude towards it is the right one. So you were like, well, why is it working like this? And you fool around with it and you try to figure it out. And you haven't hammered it out precisely what exactly is wrong with it, but then the opposite of that is some fellas will be just like, this is a piece of shit, right? And then this gun is garbage. Well, hold on, it's a brand new gun. Have you broken it in? Did you get all the friggin' packing grease out of it? Did
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, did you clean it? And there's a bunch of stuff, right?
Well, it's been a couple of layout hunts, right? Like in
Yeah,
layout blinds in the field, and especially the last one was muddy, so it's like, it's probably just dirty. Gonna have to clean it out and start over and see what happens.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I did have something. I did, as you were talking, there was something that came up to me, and I wanted to talk about it, but I just can't think of it now. But I will go off topic a little bit here because today is Thursday. This is the 6th of November that we're recording, and this will drop on the 10th. So the 11th of November for the American listeners, 11th of November, which we call Remembrance Day, you call Veterans Day. And we don't have a Memorial Day like you do in June. I think it's in June when their Memorial Day is, anyways. So for us, the 11th of November is a big day, especially for, you know, people that are still in the military or served or whatever. So if you're wondering what this little red poppy, and that's what it is a poppy. If you're wondering, that's what it's from. And I just, it's obviously something that's near and dear to me. And I'm not looking for it for myself or my generation, because I just don't think we need it. But if you're out and about on the 11th of November in the United States or in Canada and you see a veteran, thank him or her. But I'm not saying it for like my generation, because my generation, I think we're not comfortable with it. We're not comfortable with the thank you and the whole bit. For me, the veterans are like the World War II and those guys, right? Like those are the, like they just said, "Oh, fuck this, something's going on over in Europe. We got to go. We got to sort this out." It's different, right? They're just they were a different breed than what we are, and I just think, and those old fellas and those old ladies, like they love it. They love the attention. So if you see somebody on the 11th or any day of the year, and you know that they're a veteran, please give them a thank you, because they love it. They love that you think about them, especially the older vets. That's my piece on that. So have a great November 11th to everybody. Yeah, and we'll leave it at that. So that we got that out of the way. I was going to try and get that in at the beginning, but we got on a rant right off
Got
the bat.
rolling.
We were rolling, buds. We were rolling.
And it's funny, just like before you go on, like now that you mentioned it, like I've noticed the last couple of years, like especially listening to more podcasts and that, and more people kind of being around our age, like you said, just the difference in veterans' feelings towards the thank yous and stuff, right? Like a lot of the
Yeah.
younger guys, yeah, like you said, it's just they're just kind of, oh, thanks, and brush it off, and when people are thanking them, and but yeah, you definitely see the difference between the older generation and the guys kind of currently or just kind of just past.
Yeah, well, like my theory on it is that I can't speak for Americans, right? Because obviously I'm not an American soldier, but in Canada, um, up until Afghanistan, like nobody really gave a fuck about the Canadian Army, right? Or the
Mm-hmm.
Canadian military, I should say. Nobody really cared. We were doing some peacekeeping stuff in Europe, but we weren't in any conflicts or anything like that. So, to us, the World War II, Korea, and then, some of the Canadians that went to Vietnam, like that was the veterans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the 80s and 90s, that wasn't, like, I don't know, it was just weird, right? So then the news, when we went into Afghanistan, then the news got, that was the big story, because Canadian troops were dying, Americans were dying, Brits were dying, and it became a thing. So, and it just played along with this time, like this general time that we're in, where everybody is looking for some sort of validation of what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for most part, like I don't know any of my friends that would feel comfortable with someone saying thank you for your service. Like I don't even know how to respond to it. My response is always, it's a job. Like, and I'm not trying to be an asshole or I'm not appreciative. It makes me uncomfortable, because it was a job. Like I didn't join to save Canada or anything, but that's what those Second World War guys did, right? Like there was bad things happening in the world, and they had to go take care of things, right? My generation wasn't like that. The Americans different, right? Because they got attacked on 9/11 and the whole bit. But still, even then, my friends that I do have that were American military, they don't like it either, because that's a joke to them, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they say it to one another as a joke. Thank
Oh,
you for
okay.
your. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they'll say it to one another. Thank you. So like I've seen my friends, like someone will, put up a picture of themselves in uniform, and then one of my friends will go, thank you for your service, knowing full well that it's more of a fucking dig at them than it is
Yeah.
something genuine, right? So
Okay.
anyways, yeah. So that's what I think anyways. I'm sure somebody is out there fucking seething right now, like
Just
just
wait.
well, he don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, just waiting to get into the comments.
Which is funny because remember when the last time we had Drew Smith on here and Drew was like, do you guys get any like hate mail and shit like that? And I was like, no, never. But now I get it after Drew jinxed me.
Yeah.
Now I get,
After
yeah.
you talking about only going on banger hunts and stuff like that.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck. That was the worst thing. That was the worst rant I ever went on, or speech, or whatever you want to call it. I was such an idiot for even putting that out there.
Oh, what can you do?
What can you do?
It's all engagement.
But yeah. It's all engagement. It's all about the clicks and the likes,
Yeah.
I guess. But this is something that came up to me today, and I hadn't had a chance to run it by you guys yet, but I'll run it by here. And if it doesn't go anywhere, they'll just chalk it up as Damien being lazy or no one really wanted to take part of it. But, with Christmas just around the corner, I was thinking that wouldn't it be cool if we put together like a list of the products that we like the newer products that we love, that we've used this year?
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, and put it out as like a, these are the products that we absolutely love that we've used this year. They came out new this year or whatever, you know what I mean? And just especially with some of our friends, right? Like Real Geese and First Light and even like Jordan Murdoch and Rig'em Right and all these guys, like all these guys that come on the show and then they turn around and they send us stuff and they want us to try stuff out and stuff. And the flash, like I used that flashback the other day, goose
Did
hunting.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've had
I
it
did.
a couple of times.
I did use it. So here we'll go off on another tangent. So I did use it the other day when I was goose hunting on the water. And the only reason why, so my Lucky Duck agitator, the battery was dead on that, go figure. So I had no wind. So I needed to create something in the water to try and, pull the geese over to me. Like I knew they're coming to where I am. I just need them to pull into my kill zone. So, so my Lucky Duck agitator wasn't working. Well, the battery was dead. So then I just used the flashback and I just put it like right in close to some weeds. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like did it just enough movement that it just made some ripples that they carried through the decoys. And and the geese, I'm not saying that's what pulled the geese in, but it definitely kicked up enough water to make them think, oh, okay, well, things look good over here, so maybe this is where we'll land. And that's where they died.
And it's subtle too, right? Like it's not like some things where it's just like it's kind of overkill, especially because like when they said they were going to send it, like I knew exactly where I wanted to use it, and that I've used it in a couple of those spots.
Yeah,
and they're pretty quiet, calm areas, right? So it's like that wood duck hole. I know there's going to be just a handful of birds coming in there. I don't need a big amount of noise and splashing. I just need a little bit of something because there's no wind getting in there. It's basically like a semi beaver pond inside of a woodlot. Like it's a really weird spot. Like it's not a marsh or anything. It's just a spot that got flooded in the woods. And so yeah, I don't need a ton of movement, and so it's nice and subtle in there. It's not the only time I did find it a little noisy was when I took it out to Tiny Marsh, which I told you guys about, where the water was so low and it was so weedy it couldn't work.
It wouldn't work.
Yeah, so like it just get caught up in the weeds, which is fine because it still would just the butt would kind of get bouncing. And it was a calm day, so that worked. But just when it's doing that, when it gets caught, just that clicking sound of it going over, it can be pretty loud on a quiet morning.
Yeah,
and just like an unnatural sound, right? So
yeah.
So other than that, I like the way it worked.
Yeah. So anyways, so we'll over the weekend we'll think about it, and we'll shoot Phil a message in our group chat. But yeah, and I think it'd be cool if we did a little list of things that, you know, that we really like, that we've
Yeah.
used. And even, you know, because all three of the really cool thing is that all three of us all shoot a different shotgun, which is really cool, right? Because and three of us shoot um a very good shotgun. So it'd be cool to even put, you know, our three shotguns up there, and just, you know, that sort of thing. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, especially like I started trying to do that. Like I started putting out those YouTube videos and that.
Yeah.
So like we got the nature track stuff, and I so
Yeah.
like my plan. I did that one kind of initial video. I was like, here's the stuff I'm going to be using this year, and had planned to take some pictures and that. But it's like I don't know what I'm doing first of all, and then usually if I'm hunting on my own, like to if especially in spots where I know there's only going to be a handful of birds come in, it's like how do you take the time to try and
Great.
get that shit? So I haven't done anything, and then the last couple of hunts I've been with other people on their hunts, so I don't want to be dicking around with
Yeah.
gear and trying to take pictures and that and screwing stuff up. So
I think
because yeah,
I
like
think it was
I've used a bunch of different new stuff this year.
I think it was Bobby Hayes that said, um his friends once said to him something like, the minute a camera shows up or a camera is pulled out of a bag, that's when the hunt ends, or something. It's something along those lines. Because I'm the same way, right? Like I should be capturing way, way, way more content than I actually do. Like I don't capture a quarter of the content that I should be,
Hmm.
because I just, well, I want to shoot the birds, and if I'm not shooting and then I'm just running the dog, well, then I'm focused on the dog, and I'm not focused on, like, I don't know how many times Landers made a great retrieve, and I'm like, man, I should have had video of that. That'd have been such a good video, or so, you know what I mean? And I'm like you, and especially if it's going to be, if it's a slow morning, and you know, these are the first two birds you've seen in an hour. The last thing you're going to do is take out your phone, because you want to get the
Yeah,
birds, right?
but on the flip side, if you're shooting fucking awfully, you could just put the gun down and grab your phone or your camera, make yourself
well,
useful.
Well, you just gave it away. So if we start seeing really cool pictures of
Yeah,
birds and
you know what
videos of
happened.
birds, you'll know. Yeah,
Mhm.
Craig's shooting was shit that morning. He put the gun down and picked up the camera.
It was good though last weekend. Like Patrick, he always has a tripod with him, whether or not it gets set up. But he had his phone out, and I know he posted one short video in one of his stories. Is we had like all it was great. Like the geese and ducks responded so well that morning. Like a couple other like the other three guys were all calling at different times, and it's like if I see anybody else with a call, my calls don't come out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had a flag, so I'm in the middle. I'm just flagging away, and like the
Hey,
birds,
fucking
man,
flag
like the
man's a big.
geese were a far like the geese were all going in this one direction, and Patrick knew where they'd be coming from, and those birds would just turn. Like I'd be working the flag, they'd be calling, and every group of birds responded, and
Nice.
most of them well. But this one group of ducks came in, and they had probably circled a few times because geese they were coming right in. Ducks were circling a bit and then coming in, and this one small group came in, and he happened to get he had his phone out on the tripod and got this nice shot of them coming right straight in.
No, nice.
And I think we got it was I think five birds came in, and we knocked two down. Like in the short portion of the clip that he shared showed the two birds. Like it was great video. And the one other guy who was running a dog, same thing. He had his own camera set up in that, and so he got some videos of the dog running and a few shots. And so it's really cool when you can get it, and
Yeah.
if you can set it up so it's effortless or something like that. But
Well, I'm headed down to Long Point this week, and I'm gonna go hunt down there this weekend.
nice.
Um, so I would like to say, so in a perfect world, because I would like to, this is what I would like to do, like, and it's not for Instagram or anything like that. Like, I'm really making a conscious effort this year to not post any pictures of dead birds. Like, I'll show going to the hunt,
Hmm.
or you know, lander going for a retrieve, or birds flying over, but I'm trying not to. Now, the reason why I'm saying I'm trying not to is because at some point I'm probably going to forget, and I'm going to post up some pictures of some stud duck that I shot or something.
Yeah. Or sometimes you just, there's like, I have to
I
put
had
this
to,
picture
right?
up.
But I'm trying not to post any pictures because I'm trying to. I don't have a problem with dead birds. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm trying to see, and it's sort of like an experiment, and maybe this isn't the way to do it, but I'm trying to see if my following changes, if people just want to see birds falling from the sky or getting shot, or is people just genuinely interested in the whole gamut of
Yeah.
waterfowl hunting? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's sort of my thought. So with so what I would like to do is not post anything on social media this year of dead birds, but I would like to be able to pull enough content from every little hunt that I do that I could make like a 3 or 4 minute video that I could put up on YouTube or something like that. You know what I mean? Just for like this was my fall sort of deal instead of every single day. And because I see some fellas like there's and I'm like you when you said I don't really know what I'm at. Like I see some guys, man, like they can put together a video and it like Brian Ellithorpe.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brian Ellithorpe's work is insane, man. Like how well he the cinematography and putting it together with the music and the fade, like it's just, and I have no idea what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't have that creativity.
no, no,
But
not
it's like, even
even.
when I started doing like the YouTube thing was just kind of like, even when I decided the one day, I was like, oh, I'm going to do a video. I almost like, and you know this, I always feel weird about posting that stuff because
I
it's like,
know.
I'm afraid people are going to be like, look at this fucking poser, right? But it's like, but then I was able to get Caleb involved in it too, and it's like, and he liked doing it, and like especially the video of him and Cam grassing in the new blind and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So it's like it was really cool to be able to incorporate them, and it's like, of course, like things, it's not a lot of traction or anything, right? I'm not trying to build something to get sponsorships and things like that. It's just
Right.
like just something else
Yeah.
to do, right? Because make
Well,
it a little pastime or something.
and the thing is like with Cam and Caleb, like if you keep them involved, like they'll tell you, well, we should do it like this because they're the generation that
Yeah,
are just watching videos all the time. They know
yeah,
what's what, right? Like I've sometimes just me talking, like when I just do those talking videos, like I'll go up to the kids and say, hey, does this sound good? Like don't worry about what I'm saying,
yeah.
like the
Just kind of the
information.
presentation.
Yeah, the presentation of it, does it sound, because they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I just don't want to look like a doofus up there, right? And sometimes they were like, yeah, you look like a doofus. So then I gotta go fucking do it all over again. And then they say, you still look like a doofus. And I'm like, well, I think I'm just a doofus and it's going up anyways. So fuck it.
And it's like my stuff. It's like my because I've got the two Instagram pages anyways, right? So it's like the
Hmm.
family stuff and the trick or treating stuff just goes on my regular one. So like on my hunting one, it's like I don't traditionally I haven't done a lot of dead birds because I don't traditionally have a lot of dead birds, right? So it's like so now it's like when I do, it's like they're still
Yeah.
getting posted, and it's like
Yeah.
and even when I've taken I only took the one picture of the birds on the tailgate with Maverick. And so it's like, but in the caption, I made it clear it's like they're not like they're not birds that he retrieved yet, but it's more so it's like hopefully like at some point soon we're gonna have a pile of birds that he's going to have worked and helped out with and that. And it's
Buddy,
like
I can't wait. I can't. And actually, if I can do it, if I can be at his first hunt next fall, I'm there because I
well
want. I want to.
if we
I
figure
want.
something out with Drew for the winter or spring,
Yeah.
I'll
I don't
because
know about. I don't know about this year, buddy. I don't know. I don't know if
no.
you'll be ready.
Yeah, it's
He
like
might.
well,
He
he
might
hasn't
be.
left yet.
Yeah.
I was back and forth with Scott just to figure out because like after his tooth and everything, so I wasn't sure if Scott was if I was going to take him this weekend, so like the weekend of the 8th or the 15th. So when Scott got back to me, he said he's available this weekend on Sunday or anytime next weekend. So I'm probably there's actually the Georgian Bay Club has a work and training day this Sunday, so I figured I'll keep Maverick home this weekend
Mm-hmm.
and go out for that. Help out the club there. They're taking out a dock or a bridge or something at this property that they train on. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go help with that to at least meet the people and start helping out. And
Yeah.
then I'll take Maverick out for the day and just let him do
Absolutely.
whatever. And then I'll be taking him to Scott's next week. So we're already 2 weeks behind what he was going to be, right? So yeah, it's like that'll bring us into February, March before he's home. So
Wow. Yeah, crazy. But you know, it'll be good for him. You're going to be so impressed with him when he comes back, and you're going to be so happy, and I just can't wait for your hunts and how like once like you've heard me say it, right? Like I get a little bit, I'm not a cocky person at all. I'm confident, I'm not cocky, but I'm going to tell you, I get a little pop in my step when my dog does a fucking great
yeah,
retrieve, right? Like I get a little fucking swagger when I'm walking back because she done it, and I can't wait for you. I can't wait till till you experience a group of hunters like just going nuts over your dog because your dog done such a great job that morning, right? Because I'm telling you, it feels, you feel like $1,000,000. Like all these guys are they just love your dog because your dog's doing all this work. And yeah, man, it's pretty special. I can't wait for you.
and it's like I've been on the non dog side of that too, right? Where it's like you're out on a hunt, and you're on one hunt where a guy or a couple guys have dogs out, and it's like, man, like this is just excruciating because these dogs are not working well,
Yeah.
and then you get out on another one, and it's like this is why, like this past weekend, the two dogs that were out, I'm like, man, I hope my dog's even close to something like that.
Yeah.
And like just to see that difference, right? And between something that somebody's obviously put in a little more work in, so it's like to 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 be on the receiving end of that hunt and have somebody's dog helping you, like it'd be nice to be that guy later on, that it's like I've got the dog there that people are happy with, and not just creating more of a problem or wrecking the hunt in some way.
That's a very mature hunting or a very mature hunter comment, right? And I do, because there's, it's your fucking dog, right? Like people love their dogs, and my dog's awesome. Yeah, she's a great dog, but she's not a great retriever, he or she. And I've seen it. I've seen it fucking 100 times. And by no means is Lander polished, because she is not. She's a fucking bonehead, and she'll break every once in a while, and she can be vocal. She is not perfect, but she'll retrieve the fuck out of a bird, and go all day long. It's the fellas that, hey, I'm bringing my dog. Yeah, sure, bring your dog. She good? Yeah, she's fucking awesome. And then you see the dude having to go pick the duck up to put it in the fucking dog's mouth. Yeah, good girl. I'm like, that's not a fucking good girl. That's just me though.
Time will tell. I'm hoping that it goes.
He'll be, like I said, like after being down with Scott, like Scott will have him. You'll be impressed, and you'll be like, man, how did I hunt this long without a dog? Like that's the epiphany that you'll hit, right? You're like,
Yeah,
man, I wish I would have done this.
as long as I keep up on it well.
Yeah, but once he learns it, right? Like it's easy to maintain it. You just 20 minutes a day. Like just 20 minutes, that's it.
And I'm
Actually,
looking
I
forward to
was
getting
going
out
to
with
do a
the
video.
club and stuff too.
I was going to do a video because when I was out west, and I don't know if I talked about it on the show already, since I returned from out west, but when I was out there, she would, so if it was a blind retrieve, if a bird was down, she didn't see it fall, and I did, and I tried to send her on it. Like I could get her to go 50, 75 yards. And then if I stopped her and tried to cast her in the direction, she just wouldn't go.
Yeah, you did mention. I can't remember who was on the one call with us, and you were saying that she just kind of hit a wall that you
Yeah.
hadn't practiced for over the summer.
Yeah. And I guess, like, I was still, I was out every day and still training her and stuff, but I wasn't putting out stuff
Those
far.
long hauls, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that she just was like, well, why do I need to go any further? You know what I mean? So you got to keep them. And now, so since that happened, obviously I've been pushing her out and going far again. So today we were training today, and we were out and she done a blind, and it was a tricky just from the start line, right? Because I wanted her to go in between two trees and through some cover and stuff. And she did. She went through it perfect. And I was like, fuck, perfect. She might do all right on this one. And she just kept running straight, like as an arrow. Bang, hit the blind. And it was about, I don't know, maybe 200 yards.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah, maybe about 200 yards, maybe 175, 200 yards, somewhere in around there. So it was a good retrieve, and she nailed it, right? So of course, all the other guys that are training her are like, whoa, that's awesome. And I'm trying to not be a cocky prick or anything like that. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck, good. Because a month ago, she wasn't doing that, right?
Yeah.
She'd always, like, she was good, but she lost it because I wasn't practicing her hard enough. And so now I'm getting her back online again now. But ultimately, what I was getting at is that you only need 20 minutes a day, but it's still got to be enough to challenge them in that 20 minutes, right?
And yeah, variety of stuff, right? It's like it's good now because so this one guy I met on the weekend, Patrick had introduced me to him on Instagram and said like, yeah, he's a member up at the Georgian Bay Club too, and so I'd seen him on a call the one time. One of the club had like their monthly call, so I saw him on there. But so I hunted with him last weekend, and really cool, down to earth guy in that because like even this weekend, I'm like I was gonna go out to the club and help out, but I'm like I don't know about bringing Maverick. Like I'm nervous about it, right? And about like how to handle him in front of people and that. And so at least now it's like I've met him. I met the one other guy who's going to be out there, and got to talk with him because like I'm always nervous too, especially because even just going hunting with people, right? Like some people just have these attitudes and these personalities that it's like if you don't show up and know exactly what you're doing, they've got no use for you, right? So like I'm nervous about that. So like now it's like I was talking to him today. He's like, yeah, for sure, bring him out, and so still nervous, but a little
I
more
think,
willing to come out.
and I think true dog guys and girls, they get it, right? Like especially if it's a young dog, and when they say, yeah, bring your dog, like they know full well what they're getting into, right? They know that the dog is going to be a handful, and that you've got to watch them, and the dog's not polished, it's not finished or anything. They get it, right? It's the people that say, yeah, I'm going to bring my dog. Don't worry, my dog's awesome. That's when people
Mm-hmm.
lose their patience, right? But when you're saying, well, I've got a young dog, and the guy will go, yeah, bring them. That's a difference because they already know. They know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
So
So that'll be interesting. It'll be fun this weekend.
Oh, it'll be, you'll have fun, and then once the summer come, then try and get him his junior hunter title, which is easy. Like it's oh,
because even
buddy.
that I just got to learn about the test, like because I know nothing about it, right?
Yeah,
Or
and
like
I
what they look
either.
like or how you enter them,
and that's the joy of the hunt club, right? Is because they'll do test days, right? Where you're not actually testing, but they'll run a day that looks like a test. So you know exactly what you're getting into, right?
Okay.
And a junior test, like a junior hunter, I would very confidently say when he comes back from Rumbles, he'll be able to pass his junior hunter.
Okay.
Like you could, if you had a test and if you knew how to handle, right, you'd be able to take him right away because he'll be able to pass a junior test right there. Because it's not hard. It's more, you would screw up more than what the dog.
Yeah.
I screwed up more than what the dog did on the junior test. You know what I mean? Like I screwed her over. It wasn't her. She was only doing what I told her to do. It
Yeah.
was my mistakes that caused her to fail.
Yeah, I
You
remember
know
the
what?
one time you had mentioned like, yeah, you didn't. I think when you first started out, like you moved her, or you touched her, or something like
Yeah.
that, and so like that, you weren't
Well,
supposed
there
to do
was one.
that.
There was one time, and she was like, I mean, like she was a rock star. She was killing it. And it was the second day, so it would have been day 2. Like, so she had passed her testing one day, and then the next day is another set of testing, right? So some clubs will run 2 tests in a weekend. So, like for when you're going senior to master, well, you need 5 passes. So you in one weekend you can get 2, right? So it
Okay.
saves you a ton of money in the whole bit. And she was awesome. And then the second day, she was doing a blind retrieve, and I waited too long to stop. So she was starting to go offline, right? So I let her go a little bit. I didn't want to, be super strict with her. And by the time I blew the whistle, well, when she was down in the dead ground and she couldn't see me.
Oh, okay.
So then I got to call her up. I called her forward. She came at the dead ground. She couldn't find me because there was somebody else wearing a bright shirt. She thought that was me, and she was looking at that person. Oh fuck, it was a mess, and we ended up failing. But that's an example. It was all me. It wasn't her. It was 100% me that fucked her, because had I had stopped her before she went down into the dead ground, well, she would have took the cast and went on and done her thing, right? But it was me that screwed her up. Anyways, you'll
There was,
you'll see it. Like I've said, Bill Kennedy spends more time training me than he ever did on the
yeah,
dog. Yeah.
and that'll be the good thing too, because like while Maverick's away, I can still go out on the training days here just to watch other people and work with these guys. And so, because like I'm still planning on going down to Scott's whenever I can, but that's not going to be often enough. So it's at least I can be out watching these guys, training with these guys, and that, and get the hang of it, so that when I do go down to Scott's, I have some kind of idea of what he's going to be showing me, and just have some sort of background in it first.
Yeah, well, and I think that'll be good for you too, because you'll go down, you'll see what Scott's doing, you'll see how Scott's handling, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
so the other thing, and this is what remember when we had the guys on from Barrows, and the older gentleman, I think his name was Michael,
Michael, yeah,
um, and he had said, like, the pro that he sends his dog, like he handles his dog the way the pro does, because he sends the dog back there every year, and he wants to make sure that everything is on. So if Rumble is training your dog, then you copy Rumble's handling techniques.
yeah. Why
Don't.
confuse the dog when you get him
Yeah, why
back?
confuse the dog? And why confuse you? Why try to reinvent the wheel from your standpoint when you've got Rumble there as an example? I'll just do what Rumble does.
Yeah.
Just
And at least then, because too, if you have questions, it's like you can go back to him and ask a quick question.
yeah.
And it sounds like the guys that I met over the weekend, or at least the one guy, anyways, knows Scott pretty well and has worked dogs with Scott. So it's like they probably have similar, if not the same sort of style. And so, if I start working with him now, it'll get me more prepared to get Maverick back from Scott.
Yeah,
So
100%, buddy. And that's all it is just consistency, right? And you keep it as consistent as you possibly can, and the dog will do fine. Like, Maverick's a great dog. Once he learns, well, then you got to learn, and then
yeah,
between the both of yous, you work it out as a team, and you get it going. I love the fact that you have a dog. Like, we can have this conversation
yeah,
now about dogs, whereas before, you were always, well, I don't know, I never owned a dog before, and I don't know about the work. And now you're seeing, and you haven't seen it all, but you will within the next 6 months, and you'll be like,
yeah.
this is so much fun. It is
Well, even
so.
the other day is like one of the highlights. So I made Caleb come out with me the other day, like just out to the yard to clean up leaves and that. So we were working on that, and Maverick's just running around the yard and not going too far because he's just tearing up our piles of leaves and shit as we're trying to clean stuff up. But then when it came time to take stuff down, like we just bagging everything, taking it down to the road for the curbside pickup, and So we each took a bag down and we made Maverick sit. And like our driveway's somewhat long, like
Yeah.
not a country road kind of thing.
Right.
But we made him sit at the front door. And as we went down, and I wasn't sure how he'd do with that, with me leaving, like basically walking down the
Yeah.
driveway where I take him to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And so I made him sit, and I told him a couple times as I was walking away. And when I came back up, he sat there right until I walked back up to him
Perfect.
and released him. And then what was I doing the other day? I was taking, oh, I'd load up all of our old pumpkins into like just a garbage can to take down there as well. And so I'm walking down the driveway with that, and it's making all kinds of noise and rumbling, and he's ignoring it, which was good. Cause the first couple times we did that, he didn't care for the
Yeah.
wheels on the gravel driveway.
Right.
But he kept going up ahead of me, so I'd call him back, and he'd come back, and he'd walk with me, and he'd get a little further ahead, and I'd call him back, and then when started getting closer to the road, I made him sit there as I took everything up, went to the road, and so you could still see me, but like I didn't want him running out to the road. And same thing, I made him sit, told him to stay. I went down to the road, dropped everything off, came back, and he stayed right there until I came back. And so even that, like it's just like I was able to go up to the road safely, make him stay. And that same night, Carrie and Cam had been out, and they came home. And so I heard them pulling up the driveway. So I called him because he was along the edge of the driveway. So I called him over to me to be out of the way and made him sit. And he knew, like, he could tell it was them in the car. And because Cam opened up his door and he could hear Cam talking, and you could just see him like just sitting there and like doing the ass is kind of hovering on the ground. He's trying to stay sitting and he's just going nuts.
Yeah.
And so I told him to stay. And even once he saw Cam get out of the car and Cam was coming towards us, I waited till Cam was on the grass and I told him,
Yeah.
to go ahead.
Yeah.
And then he went over and was, and,
That's
and
good.
he's good. He's staying down. He's doing the thing where he's like, he's trying, he wants to jump on you, but he's not. So he's staying down, but he's just like, he doesn't know what to do with his body. He's just twitching out. But so it's just really cool to see, like even just what minimal I've been able to do or been doing with him. Like he's bang on. Like I'm really
Well,
looking forward to what Scott has to say with him.
and like, and don't take away from the fact that he's a great pedigree. Like he's an AJ, like I think the sire is an AJ top dog, right? Or AJ top, I think, is in there, and then
It's in
like,
there on the sire side, I believe. I'd have to look.
and then
Back.
Jordan, like Jordan's produced some good dogs too, right? So like he's coming from a great pedigree, and then you're like, you, Carrie, and the boys, you're not being idiots with them, right? Like you're listening to what people is telling you, and you're doing what you're doing what you're told, and the whole bit, and you're adding some structure and some obedience to them, and you've done all those puppy classes with them and stuff like that. Yeah, like he's going to be fine, man. He's going to be fine. You just got to hand him over to a pro, unless you can do it yourself. Like I think Phil trained Thor himself. Like I wouldn't be able, like I do all the landers training, but Bill done the baseline, right? Like I wouldn't be able to do force fetch. Like I wouldn't be able to do it. So like all those things, you know what I mean? Like now you send them off to a pro, and the pro will fucking fine tune and then bring them back to you, and then you just got to maintain it, and it's awesome. We should get Matt Wilson on the show too, just so that you could pick his brain, because Matt's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Fucking amazing. And see, the thing with Matt, and not taking anything away from Rumble or anybody else, but Matt trains, like it doesn't matter the breed, or it's not just hunting dogs, right? Like he'll train everything, like regardless, from a Shih Tzu to a Husky and everything in between, right? He'll train it all on obedience or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because I think, and I could be wrong, but I think he was even doing some stuff for service dogs. Now I don't know if he can bring them all the way to becoming a service dog, but I know he was in that process somewhere. So I don't know exactly where it is, but but again, we get Matt on here. Jesus, you and him can just go on. I would just turn the mic off and just not even talk, because you and him could just run, right, and go with it. But I'm also going to get, once I get this new area squared away, I've got a new area that I'm starting to square away so that I can bring guests in and sit down and do shows.
That's cool.
So once I get that squared away, well, then I'll be able to bring some fellas in, and we can do some other stuff too. So, but yeah.
And
So the big
once
thing,
we get everything rolling, I'll have to get down there and come and check out and do some training with you and stuff as well.
Yeah, buddy. Well, right now, 1st of June, get that on your calendar. 1st of June, you can bring them down and do a junior hunt test.
Yeah.
Because I joined. So I've been part of a retriever club since I've got Lander, but that club is a couple hours away from me. And I just can't make all the training and stuff, right? So anyways, we've what's the word? What did Jesus do when he come at it? He resurrected.
Resurrected.
We resurrected. Yeah. We resurrected.
I don't know where this is going right now.
Yeah. We resurrected this club. So we're actually going to be the host club for the 2026 National Master, or the National Championship, not National Master. That's a different entity altogether, but the National Championship. So we've got the training grounds, and we've got some judges, and we've got some high-end dog guys that's part of the club. So I think right now the way it's looking is the 1st of June, we're going to hold our very first hunt test. So that'll be a good chance for you to come down, and the beauty about it is you can come down here, you can stay at my place, so you don't have to, you know what I mean. And that'd be fun, man, because I'll probably have Lander in the Master. I just gotta look. Yeah, because I don't think she hasn't got a Master. She hasn't been. Seems like she.
I don't think I've ever even noticed the ribbons behind you before.
No, I guess not. I thought she had a Master Pass, but I don't think she does. So she's got her Senior Hunter. She's got that title. I thought she had a Master Pass, but I guess she doesn't. Anyways, so I've got to get her to her Master title, which is going to take some work for me to get her to that point, and it's mostly me as opposed to her. So, but yeah. Anyways, 1st of June, get it in your calendar. Start thinking.
Put it in as soon as I can get at my phone.
Yeah, because you're using it as your.
It's my light.
Cool. All right, buddy. Well, let's last word to you.
One question I was going to ask tonight, and if people want to reach out, that'd be cool. One thing I was wanted to ask people about is making like treats for dogs, like with your birds and stuff like that. Like if anybody wants to reach out and kind of give tips or ideas on what they do, like I know friends of ours always used to ask for our duck feet. They would make treats for their dog, and so really? Might as well start looking into stuff like that. So if anybody wants to reach out and give me some ideas, that'd be much appreciated. And then I can start looking into it while Maverick's away and practice on some things and figure out what I'm doing.
Okay, that's a good question. Actually, I've never ever actually thought about it. That's a good question. I'm going to make sure that
if you can use stuff up, if you can use extra pieces, why not?
Yeah, I'm going to make sure that we make a clip of that little question that you had there, so that I can put it up on socials, because I find a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I find people don't comment so much on the podcast, but on the clips that go out on socials, I find that they do comment. So I'll make sure we do a clip of that, and we put that up, and hopefully get some traction on it. You never know. I'd be interested to know too, because
just be interesting to see what some people are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 245 of the Union 0430 podcast. We are not experts. We'll never pretend to be experts. If you haven't figured that out yet, you haven't been paying attention to us. We're just a group of friends that love sitting and getting together and talking anything duck hunting. Big love. Surround yourself with good people, and good things will happen. Until next time.